So the traditional roles is interesting. This was also in that book, The Way We Never Were. So she was arguing that traditional roles actually aren't traditional. So that what kind of emerged in the late, I think, 19th century, or I'm sorry, early 19th century when production and services moved outside of the home. And prior to that, it was more egalitarian. Like there was more of a blend of roles and like I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Um, Furthermore, there is a theory that hunter-gatherers, right, women have been the primary gatherers, so we were providing something. We weren't just staying at home with the children. We had a responsibility to contribute to the tribe, and in some tribes, they say that women were also participating in the actual hunting. So there wasn't such a clear-cut boundary between men and women and what the rules were for the house, because even the idea of a nuclear family is relatively new, right? We were more tribal for a very long time up until industrial times and farming, etc.
Absolutely, yeah. Much of what we think of as traditional roles, or within the last 100 years or something, they come kind of coincide with that impression of the man works and the woman stays at home. But I mean, for
Mhm.
most, of Western history, men and women both had to work. If you, were to look back to the late modern period or the Middle Ages, that sort of thing, I mean, you would have men and women just working in fields all together all day, and that's something you see in rural areas, agricultural all around the world. That women are, farmers. That a large portion of agricultural production is conducted by women and that sort of thing. And similarly, like you said, in hunter gatherers, female hunter gatherers are doing things all the time. There are sex differences in hunting. When women
For
tend to
sure.
hunt, they tend to hunt small game or they trap with nets and that kind of thing. Men are still kind of almost exclusively the large game hunters. But the calorie and food production by men and women actually very, very similar, even if men are hunting larger game occasionally. Because yeah, women in that situation, they have to do things all the time. If you have to survive, you have to work, and the man and the woman has to work. And only very recently has the economic conditions in the West been good enough, that it's like one income can do it, and the other person can kind of stay at home and be domestic.
Yeah, and I mean, that is alluring, especially as a woman. I see these super, like, almost, like, caricaturized versions of traditional housemakers, and you're like, "Wow, that seems lovely." Like, she's beautiful, her makeup is done, she's wearing this dress, and she's baking and taking care of the kids and the chickens, and she always looks perfect, not a hair out of place, and her husband's just out and he's just providing, and she doesn't have to worry her pretty little head about anything. And you're like, you can get lost in that daydream, and then you see these like male trad accounts, and they're like, I want my wife to sit at home and raise the chip, like, right, just like do nothing, and they're trying to convince men either A, don't get married because it's a scam and you're going to end up paying alimony for the rest of your life. She's going to take everything, you're going to be homeless. But it does seem to be a little bit dangerous to tell women that you shouldn't have any kind of financial contribution, because if something does go south, like, you're at the whims of however the divorce court plays out.